This is FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast.
FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. Get ready for the latest in film news, TV show news, and theatrical reviews. FilmBook's podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FilmBookCast, the official podcast of FilmBook. My name is Chris Banks. If you're tuning into FilmBookCast for the first time, first of all, welcome. And what I do on this podcast is discuss the latest film and TV show news. I also review an in-theater film. You can find more about FilmBookCast on film-book.com by using the search term FilmBookCast. You can also email us at podcast@film-book.com with FilmBookCast in the subject line. Let's jump right into some TV news. In TV news, NBC's streaming service Peacock has ordered the TV pilot for Langdon, now dubbed Dan Brown's Langdon, to series. The fact that this potential TV show was ordered to series is not a surprise based on the popularity of the Dan Brown book series and the Tom Hanks films based on those books. What is surprising, though, is the length of time that it's taken to get to the small screen. Much of the casting took place over a year ago when the show was to air on NBC and not Peacock. NBC released a statement saying the team was blown away by this pilot and its enormous potential to become a big, binge-worthy hit, and our new structure enables us to move it to Peacock and give it every opportunity to make that happen. Our ability to pick up a great show is no longer limited by the confines of a network schedule, giving us the freedom to say yes to the shows we love and then find them the perfect home across our portfolio. We're absolutely thrilled to be working with Ron and Brian again on another Langdon project. Paramount Network has renewed the Montana-based TV series Yellowstone for a 5th season. The 4th season of Yellowstone has not yet aired on Paramount Network, but it seems that the powers that be and the ratings have locked in the actors and writing staff for a 5th season. Filming for the 5th season is not due to start until July. There's no word yet on when Season 4 or Season 5 will begin to air on Paramount Network. Yellowstone Season 2 stars Kelly Riley, Wes Bentley, Kevin Costner, among many others. Taylor Sheridan wrote, created, and directs Yellowstone. It's a drama series that follows the Dutton family, led by patriarch John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner. The Duttons control the largest ranch in the U.S. and must contend with constant attacks by land developers, clashes with an Indian reservation, and a conflict with America's first national park. Alright, time for film news. As theaters across the country slowly start to reopen as we slowly begin to get ahead of this pandemic, the theatrical movie box office results released numbers for this week at the box office. Raya and the Last Dragon premiered at the number 1 spot at over $8.6 million, and Tom and Jerry was right behind it with $6.6 million. Chaos Walking took the 3rd place with 3.8, and Boogie took the 4th place with 1.2. Some pretty strong numbers considering this is the first wave. In some exciting movie news for our friends in Spanish-speaking countries, the Bird Box universe is expanding with the Spanish-speaking spin-off. The movie will reunite Netflix with Bird Box producers Dylan Clark and Chris Morgan, but it's also going to have a distinctly Spanish flavor. Writer-director will be Spanish duo Alex and David Pastor, best known for 2020 Netflix thriller The Occupant and 2009 pandemic thriller Carriers, as well as sci-fi series Incorporated and recent HBO MAX series The Head, both of which they created. Producing for Spanish outfit Nostromo Pictures will be Adrian Guerra and Naria Valls, producers of The Occupant and Spanish hit The Invisible Guest. Guerra is also well known as the producer of Ryan Reynolds' box office breakout Buried. The yet untitled film, which will sit within David Kost's local language slate for the streamer, is due to start production towards the end of the year in Spain. Cast has yet to be set. Bird Box was a massive hit for Netflix back in 2018. Sandra Bullock starred as the mother who tried to protect herself and her 2 children from entities which pushed people who look like them to suicide. According to the streamer, the film was watched by over 89 million households in just the first 4 weeks of its release, the second most ever of one of their original films. There's been plenty of talk about a possible sequel. I'm sure that this is not the last we hear of Bird Box, but very exciting news for our friends in Spanish-speaking countries. Let's get into some TV trailers. Competition seems to be everywhere on the 7th episode of the 5th season of Riverdale. It'll debut on the CW March 10th, and they just released the trailer, which shows us the troubled waters of romance, school, and family. The trailer centers around a challenge being issued in a high school gym, and I can't wait to find out what happens. NBC has released the Season 3 trailer for Manifest. When Montego Air Flight 828 landed safely after a turbulent but routine flight, the crew and passengers were relieved. But in the span of those few hours, the world had aged 5 years, and their friends, families, and colleagues, after mourning their loss, had given up hope and moved on. Now, faced with the impossible, they're all given a second chance. But as the new realities become clear, a deeper mystery unfolds, and some of the returned passengers soon realize they may be meant for something greater than they ever thought possible. Watch the Season 3 trailer for Manifest. It debuts on NBC April 1st. There seems to be an invasion coming in the episode Mother, which is the third episode of the 7th season of The Flash. It's debuting on the CW March 16th, and they just dropped the trailer, so check that out. The Flash is about Barry Allen, who lost both of his parents when he was 11 years old. Little does the world know that Barry has acquired this superhuman ability to travel through Central City at warp speed. For now, only a few close friends know this, but it won't be long before the world learns that Barry Allen has become the Flash. Time for some movie trailers. Saban Films has released the second movie trailer for City of Lies. City of Lies came out way back in 2018 in Italy. It didn't come out here for many reasons, but they're finally releasing City of Lies in theaters March 19th, and it will be on video on demand April 9th. Christian Contreras wrote the screenplay for City of Lies, and it stars Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker. Based on the book by Randall Sullivan, City of Lies centers around one of the most notorious and unsolved cases in recent times. It's a provocative thriller revealing a never-before-seen look at the infamous murder of the notorious B.I.G. shortly following the death of Tupac. LAPD Detective Russell Poole, played by Johnny Depp, has spent years trying to solve this biggest case, and after decades, the investigation remains open. Jack Jackson, played by Forrest Whitaker, a reporter desperate to save his reputation and career, is determined to find out why. In search of the truth, the two team up to unravel a growing web of institutional corruption and lies. Relentless in their hunt, these two determined men threaten to uncover the conspiracy and crack the foundation of the LAPD and an entire city. Check out the trailer for City of Lies. It looks extremely good. In more movie trailers, Stefano Solima's Tom Clancy's Without Remorse trailer has been released. The Tom Clancy's Without Remorse trailer stars Michael B. Jordan among many others. Taylor Sheridan Will Staples wrote the screenplay for Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. Based on the book by Tom Clancy, in a war-torn region of Syria, an elite team of Navy SEALs led by Senior Chief John Kelly, played by Michael B. Jordan, rescues a CIA operative taken hostage by an ex-Russian military force. 3 months later, in an apparent retaliation for his role in the mission, Kelly's pregnant wife, Pam, played by Lauren London, is murdered in the United States by a squad of masked Russian assassins. Despite being shot multiple times herself, Kelly manages to kill all but one of the attackers before being rushed to the hospital. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Kelly's friend and former SEAL team member, Lieutenant Commander Karen Greer, meets with CIA agent Robert Ritter and Defense Secretary Thomas Clay to discuss their response options. Leaked news of Russia's unprecedented attack on American soil has caused the already strained relations between the two nations to sour even further. If something isn't done soon, the result could be a full-scale war. Watch Tom Clancy's Without Remorse trailer. It comes out on Amazon Prime April 30th. Another movie trailer from Netflix is Alexandra Aja's Oxygen. Oxygen stars Melanie Laurent, among many others. Christy LeBlanc wrote the screenplay for Oxygen. The plot synopsis is a woman wakes up in a cryogenic unit with no memory. Quickly running out of oxygen, she must find a way to remember who she is in order to survive. Anne Hathaway was originally attached to the project, but she later dropped out and was replaced by Noomi Rapace. Watch the Oxygen trailer. It will debut on Netflix May 12th. I think it's time for this week's movie review. What do you think? Let's get on over to this week's movie review. For this week's movie review, we're going to talk about The Father, directed by Florian Zeller, written by Christopher Hampton and Florian Zeller. It stars Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. It's about a man who refuses all assistance from his daughters as he ages. As he tries to make sense of his challenging circumstances, he begins to doubt his loved ones, his mind, and even the fabric of his reality. Anthony Hopkins plays Anthony, and Olivia Colman plays Anne. I was not expecting just how striking of a film this is. This is a very well done deep dive into dementia almost. And if anybody has any experience with dementia, you know how volatile it is, right? What the ups and downs of it are. So we follow Anthony, who is 80. He's mischievous, he's living deviantly alone and rejecting the carers that is his daughter, Anne, who is played by Olivia Colman. Yet, help is also becoming a necessity for his daughter. She can't make daily visits anymore, and Anthony's grip on reality is unraveling. As we experience, as a viewer, we experience the ebb and flow of his memory told through a brilliant job by the director. You're left questioning how much of his own identity and past can Anthony cling onto? How does his daughter cope as she grieves the loss of her father while she's still living and breathing before him? The film really embraces the tragedy of dementia, and it embraces the real life ups and downs of living with someone with dementia. It's truly a loving reflection on our human condition. How each of us deal with something. It's heartbreaking. It's extremely poignant. The last line of what's written on Rotten Tomatoes really struck me, because it says that it's a movie that nestles in the truth of our own lives. And it's true, because if you watch The Father, the way they tell the story to you complements Anthony's condition. And honestly, it makes you question yourself in a way that's healthy, in a way that a film really hasn't made me question myself. It's really a unique film, I think. I think it's a very overlooked movie. I'm not sure. It just came out in theaters February 26th, so I'm not sure how many people have seen it, but it's a very good movie. And Olivia Colman is brilliant. She's always brilliant. And we know what we're getting with Anthony Hopkins. Florian, she helped write it, but it's such a unique film. And I'm so proud of it to be made, because not only is it a great acted movie, and it's an incredibly interesting. It's interestingly shot, right? And it's so cool the way that the story is presented to us as viewers. Wait till you see it. It's an experience in and of itself. The way the film moves through the story, it's brilliant. It's unique. I think it's really one of the most unique films I have ever seen. And in this past year, of all the films that I've seen, it's really a standout movie. I'm not sure if it's on demand. I know it's in theaters. It runs about an hour and a half. It's a great hour and a half to spend. It makes you question, through diving into Anthony's struggles, you can empathize with Olivia, with maybe your grandparents, maybe your parents. I think it's a really well-timed movie. It's definitely worth your time, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It's a tremendously unique movie. Thanks so much for checking us out this week. You can find more of my work on film-book.com. Just search for Chris Banks or FilmBookCast. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at CBanksy. I'm also on Instagram. I'm at @TheChrisBanks. If you listen to this podcast on iTunes or another podcast service, please consider rating and review this episode. If you're listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, FilmBook Podcast, please like our video, subscribe to our channel, and leave us a comment in the comments section. It really helps other people discover our podcast. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/filmbook. Your support helps us create more engaging content. You'll find our Patreon link below in the description. If you want to tweet about this podcast, just use the hashtag FilmBookCast. Tune in next week for the next episode of the FilmBookCast. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you then.